Hi, happy day 8 of the ABC challenge. We are going over letter H today. Super excited. I say that every time, but I really mean it, you guys. So thanks for joining me. I'm on here a little late, but I see some folks in the chat, so we are ready to go. Now, before I begin, I wanted to grab some scratch paper. And remember back when we did the letter F, we did something like this. So I showed you the print version of that letter. So I'm going to do that here with the H. And the point being that you can pretty much take most of the print letters and build upon them and slowly make your way into a calligraphy version. So from this regular print H, you can add some pressure to the outside strokes, but keep that crossbar thin. You can get a little bit fancy with the crossbar, and you can start down below. You can get even fancier, and then you can cross up above here. So just see how like my philosophy is just taking baby steps. I don't like running before I can walk. So you can so on and so forth. Okay, so I won't go through this whole progression, but eventually you will get something like this. So you have your, I'm doing this kind of on a larger scale. Okay, and then you can, oh, I think I went a little bit too complicated. But there are these different variations that you can sort of build upon as well. Okay, so hopefully that gets you excited. Uh-oh, I'm going to run out of room here. For today's lesson, okay, you can come out here, flourish that if I had more space there. Okay, so let's move on. I mean, not move on, but let's go back to our guidelines here. And as always, guys, links to all of these are down below. So let's start with lowercase, okay, taking a couple steps back, but we're going to go ahead and go over the strokes for the lowercase letter H. So we have your entrance stroke, baseline to the waistline. You have your ascending stem loop. You have a compound curve. Okay, now these can be further broken up too. Let's do it again and even more broken up. So we have entrance stroke. You can create just the stem of that ascending stem loop. Then you can come back around. So imagine if I were to come out from the top there. Okay, and then you can close that loop, adding a slight bit of pressure on the downstroke here. Then you can make the beginning part of your compound curve, and you can actually end it at the baseline here, and then you can finish off with an exit stroke. Okay, so literally I went from 3 strokes here to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what that looks like all together. Hi everyone. Hi Anna, Stephanie, Mikey, Pamela, is that Neem? And Justin, Camille, Sue, Gurjeet is here. Okay, and Vanessa. Just had to do a quick little shout out. All right, so let's go ahead and put it all together. Entrance stroke, ascending stem loop, come back down, compound curve. Okay. Or like I did on that second example, you can break it up even more. Entrance stroke, stem, come back up above, close the loop. First part of the compound curve, taper off at the baseline, and then finish off with an exit stroke. Okay, so let's troubleshoot this briefly. Remember, we want that shade on the slant line. See that? Here's our slant line. And then here's another shade too. So these two are parallel to each other. See? Something that in my workshops and just my online demos, I'm constantly highlighting this parallel here. So see all of these lines? You want your strokes to fit. You want the shades to always fall on these lines. Okay? That's why we use guidelines. And even if you get really modern with your H, like this, or you're still trying to keep that downstroke on the slant. This one goes a little bit crazy here, but the idea is that you still have a general same direction of that stroke. Okay, a little bit of a tangent there, but let's move on to the uppercase. So for the uppercase, essentially you want an entrance into that capital stem. Okay, so a couple of examples. You can either do just a simple entrance with a hairline. You can do a compound curve. Okay, and this one's a little bit rotated. It's not exactly the same compound curve as up here. Then you can also have a more teardrop shaped entrance stroke. Okay, so any of these options here, we're going to combine them to the capital stem. Okay, then we're going to cross the H and then all in one motion finish out with an ascending stem loop. Now you could finish at the baseline here and then finish out with an exit stroke. I feel like the flow is better when you do this all together. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. We'll do the first entrance stroke option. Okay, so a couple things to note. So again, we have our shades on the slant line, and then this is what's key here. The key to keeping this balanced is these spaces, these loops. That's what we call the counter space. It's the space that's empty. You want those as even as possible. See how my right one is a little bit thinner than this one? So I would adjust that to be a little bit more closer together in shape. Secondly, you want to make sure that the space here is even. So see how the shades from the outside of my H are, it's almost like I just made train tracks here. You don't want them to be too far out like this. You wouldn't want one to be straight, but the other, on the slant line, you wouldn't want the other one to be too far off. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop onto Instagram. Oops, I usually have it ready. Sorry, guys. Cool thing. I'm so glad you made it live. How's everyone doing while I pull up some examples from last night? Is everyone keeping up with the challenge? Are you just hanging back and checking everything out? Are you loving the videos every day? I hope they're not too long. I meant for them to be super short, and somehow I just can't get away from the 15-ish minute mark. Okay, so here we go. I asked for some names here on Instagram. So if you're following me, I have been doing a call for names. So look at all these fun examples. Okay. So, and if you're in the chat, feel free to throw out an example too. Okay. So the first one, let's do Haley. Okay. Oh, interesting. Haley with an I. Okay, so we're going to do that same entrance. Capital stem. Trying to keep my loops even. And then with this capital letter, we are going to connect to the next letter there. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I kind of somehow got this wide spacing. So I'm just going to go with it. See how wide my spacing is? Okay, so there's Haley. What's another name we have here? Okay, this is a short one, Hugh. Okay, so let's do the second entrance stroke here. And then into the U. Gonna keep my strokes a little bit tighter this time. That's just my preference. Whatever you choose is fine, just be consistent. Okay. Hiroki, that's an interesting name. Okay. Oh, hi, Leticia. Leticia or Letitia? We will do your name soon. We're almost to L. Okay. It'll come before we know it. Let's finish this here, this entrance, this capital stem here. Then come up just in the middle. How do you spell it? Okay. Hiroki. You know, I always feel bad when I don't get to everyone's names. I would love to do just all the names, but you can imagine how long that would take here. Okay. Oh, Hannah. Okay, always think about, I don't know if it was a book in school, but I always remember Hannah is a palindrome. Have you guys heard of that reference? I mean, it's a fact, but I'm just wondering if anyone knows what that's from. Trying to get a little fancy here. You guys know I am not the modern loving type. I mean, I love seeing it, but I'm not the type to totally do modern. Okay. Oh, Harrison. That reminds me of Scandal. Okay, let's try to do a little bit more flourishing. Oh, there's this H that is super fun. I've seen, I don't know if I first saw this from Younghae, if you guys follow her, but it was super fun. There we go. Okay, so we'll do Harrison, which is good because it doesn't have any descenders, and I wish that bottom portion wasn't touching, but it's okay. So, what do you guys think of that one? Super fun, right? Okay. Definitely, Leticia. Okay, we'll do one more. How am I doing on time? It looks like we are, okay, let's just do one more here, guys. Sorry, doing some troubleshooting. Okay, maybe I just did a guy's name. Let's do one more girl's name. Probably one with ascenders and descenders. I'm looking. Someone said Hennessy. That's so funny. Okay, I like this one. Harmony. All right, let's do some bounce lettering. I know people were requesting bounce lettering, and forgive me because if you know me, this is out of my element. And one quick tip, you guys, with the bounce lettering, I'll leave a card up above so you guys can check it out, but you really want to still be very consistent with your lettering when you're doing the bounce lettering. So even though I'm coming up and off the baseline, can you guys see that? I'm still keeping this even pace. Like if I were to keep the letters in mind, see how they're still pretty even? I think that's a good key to keeping your modern still readable and a little bit more it just looks really nice and coherent and graceful, for lack of a better word. But okay, guys, so that's it for today. Thank you for joining me for letter H. It is so fun to be here live with you guys all in the chat. Remember to tag me on Instagram, share your work. I haven't mentioned this every video, but this here is my personal tag. So in case you're interested in my own letters, I haven't been keeping up this time around. It is way too hard for me to run around, do this live stream, share it, edit it. And I'm still working full time. I actually brought work home this weekend, but that's not your problem. I just wanted you to know that I haven't been updating this for this go around, but you can see my past work. Alright guys, I will chat with you guys tomorrow for day 9, letter I. Oh boy, this is a tough one. And I will see you then. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. Have a good night wherever you are, or day, and I'll catch you later.